Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining in. I know it's an end of a week, but thanks for logging in at a time. Uh, uh, I know in fact, the last 2 3 sessions, you all been participating. Sincere gratitude from the team of PMaps in terms of registration and turning up for the event. Uh, Sir, from on the behalf of the entire audience, sir, I'll just give a brief about this community that we are showcasing. So it's a community of about 4,000 working professional from various field. It comprises of some SaaS founders, some talent practitioners, some OD practitioners, and the idea of these events, sir, that we call upon speakers like you to catch up on these bright Friday and just understand and get some perspective out of you. For all my audience, let me just give a brief about our speaker for today. I have done about 15 podcasts, but I'm a bit scared as well as thrilled to have Shantanu sir on this call. And on the behalf of all my community, thanks sir for taking time for us. I know you have a busy schedule, and we've been bothering your marketing team a lot for you getting your slot. Thanks for being part of this event, sir.
My pleasure. Thanks for getting me here, Saurabh.
Yes,
Really excited.
absolutely. Now, just to begin with this, let me give a quick introduction of Shantanu sir. Uh, uh, just to give a few information about him, he has been an academics par excellence. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's running a company to make Indian employable. A man who's on a mission. He's handling before this new before the team leads at tech that he's currently heading. He has worked with other companies also, take them to a great height. The company that he is now heading, Team Leads EdTech, is one of India's leading learning solution provider. And in almost his journey of 15 to almost 25 years of entrepreneurship journey, he has mentored so many companies in the past. And with that, on this, sir, anything that you want to add which I have not added, maybe you can add some words for our audience.
No, Saurabh, that's very kind of you to say so many things about me. So to summarize this, I have been an entrepreneur for almost 2.5 decades now. So which only means that I know of many different things that doesn't work in entrepreneurship. People know about my successes, but very few people knows about my failures. Right? So of the 3 companies that I've done, one went for an IPO, second was acquired, third is the one that I'm running now. But there must be another 10 that I floated that you have not heard of. And they have taught me very valuable lessons, right? So I think it's a journey. I have always said that entrepreneurship is the art of staying alive till you get lucky. It's a combination of luck and skill. And we have to be continuously at it. It's a difficult journey, but it's exciting as well.
Absolutely, sir. In fact, I've been very kind enough to reach out to you, and you've been really a great help to me personally, and also the startup ecosystem that India is seeing now. So with that, given the paucity of time, I quickly start with the broad contour of this discussion. Sir, if I see, in India as a country, the demographic says that 65% of our population is below 35. But you talk to any company, they are facing a problem in terms of getting a skill talent. So there's a huge skill gap, which we talk in the same breath when we talk about the demographic dividend. Sir, you've been a person who's been almost into this space for so many years. You are the one who understand this problem. So my audience want to know what is this problem all about, and is there any solution to this, the issue of skill gap?
Yeah. So we speak about it in seminars. We talk about it in webinars. Very little is being done about it. So as you all are aware, let me repeat this, that the Indian education system is modeled around the British education system. We typically have not changed that system over the last about 5 decades. That's the challenge. We still teach students those skill sets, those subjects, those topics, which possibly are not relevant anymore. Last time I remember going to a shop in Mumbai, And I was looking for a typewriter because I wanted to show my daughter, about what a typewriter looks like. He asked me, "Are you from engineering college?" I said, "Why do you ask me that?" He said, "There's only one guy who buys typewriters today. It's an engineering college. Nobody else buys that." So the scenario today is that today most educational institutions still teach people and still teach people those things which students do not need in today's world, right? Most employers will tell you that once you are on board into the company, please forget whatever you learned in the classrooms. I'm going to teach you all over afresh. Right? So the entire skilling system in India is built on a repair system rather than a prepare system, which means that the foundation layer, the school system, the college system are all defective. That's what the employers is telling us. And only when you start working somewhere and when the employer comes in touch with you, says, now I'm going to teach you what is actually needed for you to do your job well. The intersection of education and employment is definitely broken. The problem becomes compounded because of India's scale. India is a country with a humongous amount of scale, right? We have run one of the world's largest education system in the world. Look at some of the numbers, for example. How many? India has close to about 2.6 crore kids who takes the class 10th examination every year. Almost a crore of them fail. About 1.6 crores goes into class 12th. If you look at it, another 50 lakhs fail. In that case, about a crore of them go into college. 10-20 lakhs disappear. This scale of India, compounded with the fact that we are still having a challenge of old pedagogy, old syllabus, irrelevant curriculum, and a large number of faculty members who themselves are not well skilled or not well trained or are at a complete distance from what the reality is. I think those are the challenges that India is facing. But the good part is that it's not all that bad now. The NEP document, which is the vision document for Indian higher education, Indian education system for the next few decades, is a fantastic document. We believe that, and the good part that we saw in this government is that there is an urgency, there is an intention to implement that document pretty quickly. Initially, the government said we are going to implement it in 15 years, but now they've brought it out to 5 years, which is great. It talks about modularization of education. It talks about multimodal classrooms where people can learn something online, something in campus, something inside a classroom, something on job. It talks about digitalization of education. It talks about better governance in education. It talks about outcome-based education. It talks about employability. It talks about teachers' education. I think it's a game-changing document for us. But any document which is made at a point in time needs refurbishing as times comes, because the world is changing faster than we can all fathom, right? And there are few things that will shape the world of tomorrow. Right? Speed of change is very, very rapid in today's world. No one document will remain relevant for more than a couple of years now. I mean, that has to be relooked at, right? Technology is disrupting every single industry. Right? It's a fact today. New business models are coming in, right? Costs are coming down in every single business, and innovation is actually attracting a lot of funding. These are fundamentals, the way businesses are happening today. I think education will need to align to these things, and I think in India we are fast going that route. I see a good as a bright future for the country in the next couple of years' time.
Amazing, sir. Especially that stat, 1 crore people fails every year. That has been equivalent to the population of UK, sir. I think maybe more than the population of UK. Yeah. Sir, one quick out of this analogy, sir, one side there are corporates who are looking for the ready talent pool. And then, on the other side, there is a university. So there's a big gap between the college and the company angle somewhere down the line. So Digivarsity, because I've been reading about Teamly's EdTech for quite a while. Digivarsity is a new initiative. So what has been all this and what is the concept around it? If you can talk about it, because when I was going through the website, it talks about sourcing. A lot of my audience will be grinning over it. So what is this all about? And can you just tell me maybe a brief about it? What is this all effort, all this concept all about?
Yeah. So I have been engaged with education for almost 2 decades now, into higher education for almost a decade now. So when we looked at higher education challenges, and we said that education as an industry has to, ultimately any industry to remain relevant has to deliver an outcome. And I was reading this book by Professor Pankaj Chandra from Ahmedabad University. He said that there are three reasons for education to deliver. One is to ensure that we make great citizens. A country which is not well educated ultimately leads to a lot of crime, lots of challenges there. So to make great citizens is one of the primary purpose of education. Second is to ensure that to enable people to earn their livelihoods. That's second. And third is to quench someone's thirst for knowledge. There are three. I'm not too sure how do you measure the first one and the third one, right? But the second one, which is talking about employability, which is ensuring that people can earn their livelihood by virtue of education. Employers normally in India definitely believe that education hasn't delivered there.
Yes.
Now, there are many solutions which are trying to solve this problem. And most of the solutions that you hear today are in the repair section, which is if the student is a graduate, I will give him some additional training and make him skilled so that he can get a job. You can take up one more certification program alongside graduation so that you will get a job by virtue of the certification program, not by virtue of your graduation. So there are a lot of certification programs. The entire NSDC bid the government is doing to bring people into physical classrooms, to train them on a particular skill set, vocational. All of these things are trying to repair a product which is definitely not working. We said that we would want to, if the base product was good enough, right? If that was pregnant with a lot of employability skill sets, then possibly student doesn't need a repair solution. And we said that Team Design Tech would want to work in that space of ensuring that every single graduate in the country, the day they graduate, has not only the academic understanding, knowledge, and the prudence, but also has got the employable skill sets. We said, how do you do that? There are two things which stood out in our research. One is we said that a training must be given in situated learning environment, which means that if you want to make somebody an electrician, he has to go with an electrician and learn it on the field rather than trying to learn inside a lab. If you want to become a carpenter, you have to go into a workshop and do carpentry yourself rather than trying to learn it on a whiteboard or a blackboard. That doesn't.
Yes.
So you have to learn that skill in a place where the skill is normally employed. Right? So that's one thing. Second thing we said is that only an academic professor is not good enough to make the student educated and skilled. We need an equal participation of the industry. Industry can't just stand on the boundaries and become a critic to the education system. You have to take accountability to some extent. And hence we said that we'll create a product at the intersection. And this Digivarsity embodies that. So in partnership with 24 universities, some support from the UGC, something to do with Ministry of Skills, we created this program in India called Degree Apprenticeship. This program is a separate category of program, right? The way you have a classroom degree, you have an online degree, you also have an apprenticeship embedded degree, or call it a work integrated degree. Somebody asked me, what is that?
Yes.
We explained that in this product, the student enrolls into a university. University teaches you the theory part of it, partially inside the class and partially online. And at the same time, the university attaches you to an employer and ensures that you learn the practical hands-on skills from the employer on a daily basis. That means the student has got two parents. One, the university, second, the employer. University will teach him theory, the employer will teach him practical hands-on skills. The student will be taught in multiple classrooms. Some study will happen on a physical classroom in the campus, some study will happen on the online classroom or virtual classroom, and some education will happen in the on-the-job classroom, right? By virtue of this, so that, for example, let's say you are an accountant, you're learning BCom. 3 years of BCom degree, you'll learn something in the class, something online. At the same time, this university will place you in a company where you work as an account assistant for 3 years' time. Whatever learning theory, what is the debit, what is the credit, what is the balance sheet, what is the P&L account, you actually get to do that practice on a day-to-day basis, sitting in the accounts department as a trainee or an assistant or something like that, right?
Hmm.
3 years graduation, 3 years of on-the-job learning experience. You graduate, you are a fresher with 3 years of work experience. That's one. The second thing that it also does is that while you are doing your traineeship into employer, you also get a monthly stipend, anywhere from about 9,000 rupees to about 20,000 rupees a month is something that you're getting paid. That amount of money makes sure that builds a lot of self-confidence in the kid. It teaches you a lot of soft skills, which you can't teach the kid inside a classroom there. So now look at this student. The student will graduate, is a fresher with 3 years of work experience. Most employers told me, Shantanu, I need people with work experience. I need a fresher with experience. Where does a fresher get experience? So we created this product, right? So this student now, if you look at this category of program called work integrated degree programs, are unique because they embed the values of learning by doing, right? You're practicing every day, the accounting while you're doing BCom. It embeds the value of earning while learning, right? So there's a lot of financial support to a lot of kids possibly who needs that support today. And there is a learning with humongous amount of employer signaling value. This kid with a BCom with 3 years of work experience with a company like HRTech or PMaps, for example, Saurabh, he has worked there for 3 years' time. This boy will never have a problem getting to his first job. So we created this program. Digivarsity is a platform, India's first platform, where the student, this only houses work integrated degree programs, which means that upon enrollment, the student gets 2 letters, one from the university and one other from the employer. He gets both the letters on his enrollment. He gets the university enrollment letter and the employer's letter of hiring, which means that that's definitive mode of building career. I think if you see the signaling value of Digivarsity is similar to what you'd get in an IIT or an IIM. Right? I'm happy the day I got an IIT because he thought that getting into IIT signaled career making. We said that obviously IITs are doing a great job for technical programs, but what about students who are not in technical programs, doing a BA or BCom or BSc or BBA? For all these generic programs, Digivarsity would almost bring the similar signaling value, education with skills.
Sir, very novel concept. So just one question out of it. So let's suppose in a normal traditional environment, it's an 8-hour a normal day for a student. Go to a college. So during these Digivarsity, let's suppose if I get enrolled in Digivarsity, so for 4 hours I need to study, for 4 hours I need to get into this project, or that how the generally day plans look like for a normal candidate or a student.
So a normal student on a course which is a work integrated degree program would start at typically about 9:30 and end at about 6 o'clock. All this about 8.5, 9 hours time he'll spend at the employer place. Like a normal employee, he has to go there as a trainee, as a intern, as an apprentice, right? The theory part of the program is available to him on his smartphone. He can study in the evening, he can study during weekends, virtual classes happens during weekend, and by combination of these two learning, he'll become a graduate. He gets credits, he gets assessed not only for the theory but also for the practicals. He gets credits for his on-the-job learning also. So the load on him for mugging up subjects and delivering the academic stuff is also less. Professors do not expect him to tell the definition of Newton's third law of motion. So they're not going to ask him that. So he's going to be assessed a bit differently. And we said that the best assessment is by the employer who's willing to hire you now, right?
It's so sorry to cut there. I just got the employment is confirmed after the end of the tenure. So let's suppose it's a 3-year program and he excelled really well. So after 3 years, the employment is confirmed.
I don't write that on paper, but then it's common sense that if you have worked with an employer as a trainee for 3 years' time, the employer is so much engaged with you that he actually wants you as his employee, right? Normally, our experience is that more than 90% of the kids gets absorbed in the same employer, unless the employer is going through some sort of a challenge. Even if that employer is going through a challenge, if you did your BBA in retail with Reliance Retail as your trainee place, even if that guy has a trouble, there are umpteen number of other retailers for whom you are a precious resource. because you're not only educated but also skilled. You have a different signaling value. The employer reads your CV differently. He says BCom, theek hai, that's like hygiene. There's a baseline. But you worked with Reliance Retail for 3 years, and you're coming to me as a fresher. Imagine this will definitely command even a premium on his opening salary against somebody who has just done a BCom with no work experience. Because for the employer, this boy signals higher productivity. उसे पता है इसको training देने की जरूरत नहीं है. This boy from day one will be productive for me. I save 6 months of my training time. Number one, this boy has been tried and tested. Right? The employer, Reliance Retail, has had him for 3 years' time. He's tried tested. I don't have to bother about productivity or his ability to sink into his job role very quickly. I think this programs have got very different parts. And importantly, Saurabh, this boy doesn't have to do anything over and above his graduation. This is the part of the graduation degree, and hence it's so important. And in a country like India, right? India is a very different type of a country. We are a country which has close to about 600,000 villages, right? 200,000 of them has less than 200 people living in those villages. I think India is a very different type of country with very different type of demographics, which means that if you're trying to solve the problem of the Bharat, that's the lingo that most of us use, which means that the one which is deprived, one which is rural, one which doesn't have the same facility or the opportunity that all of us have, I think it's a great product to do, because we were doing one of the researches and said that if there are 2.6 crore kids who take class 10th examination, 2 years hence, all those kids should have ended up in college. Why only 40% kids end up in college, 60% drop out? Our research said that our biggest problem of dropout because these kids could not afford to lose the opportunity cost of that time. Papa ने कहा, बेटा घर पे 2 बहनें बैठी हैं, उनके लिए थोड़ा मेरा हाथ बटाओ, right? अब मैं पढ़ा नहीं सकता. Now the kid says, Papa, don't worry at all. I can do my graduation from a university of my choice. Pick a top class university. I'll pick a top class employer. I'll learn at the same time earn. But the good part is I'm going to join a formal workforce of the country. मैं एक चाय वाला नहीं बनूंगा. Not that I have denouncing a chai wala, which I mean that I'm not going to end up in the informal sector of employment, where the growths are limited, right? The formal sector gets you a different sort of a growth, and the formalization of the country has a lot of benefits. What I mean is that this kid is going to end up in the formal workforce of the country. The implication of this on the nation is very different, but the implication of this on the child is the fact that he lifts the entire family out of poverty and gets a different level altogether, right? I think the implication of this program has got a long shadow, which is going to cast on all of us.
Sir, I know, sir, it is like goosebumps for me, sir, but the task looks too humongous, because while you are talking about, so many non-technical job roles are there in the market, then, there's so much curriculum that you need to co-create between the academia and the corporate world. So everything will be done under Digivarsity, or how is it? Because it looks like a humongous task.
Making India employable is our vision, is our passion, is our motive. We breathe, live, think about it day in and day, day in and day out. And we know that this is a big dream, and we may not be able to finish it in our lifetime, but we're happy fighting for it. So we believe that only one Shantanu, one team is at one PMaps cannot do it, but we need an ecosystem to do this part. So we are creating this ecosystem today. In about 6 months' time now, we already have close to about 2.5 dozen universities, 300 colleges already partnered with us, right? Number one, 6 months. There are already about 900 employers with close to about 45,000 open positions already tied up with us.
Yes.
And more employers want to do it. There are organizations like NSDC who's partnered with us who want to take it nationally. There's this Government of India body called CSC e-Governance Services who has got their centers in every single village of this country, 5.5 lakh centers of CSC. They partnered with us because they want to take this message to every single village, say that I am a Digivarsity center. अगर आपको normal graduate बनना है, किसी भी college में चले जाओ, career बनाना है तो एक CSC center में आ जाओ. We'll help you doing that part. We're creating this ecosystem all across the country with like-minded people who believe in the vision of making India employable. Because हमारे India में ना दो तरह की poverty है. There is the poverty of income, but the bigger problem is the poverty of hope. And the problem is that when the poor people, we need to lose their hope, lose their self-belief. That's where the challenge is. I think we want to instill that one. And then India is going to be a very different country. This is our small contribution to making India employable.
Wow, amazing. I think amazing concept, sir. Sir, can I just take this discussion somewhere else?
Please.
Because, sir, as I said in the beginning, you've been a serial entrepreneur, right? And for a person like me, I have seen you, how you got one company listed, one company acquired. This third one, it's the biggest learning solution in India, all from the capitalistic side of the world. But what I'm hearing from you, right? There is so much talk on fairness, inclusivity, the poverty. So is it like, am I saying, the capitalistic side of the world is going to meet the socialistic side of the world, or how is it? Or I'm interpreting differently, sir? What is your takeaway on this? Because I said it's a humongous task, making India employable, because it needs a lot of heart in the right place for a founder to do something like this, because it is humongous task. What is your takeaway on this, sir?
Yeah. So what I believe, Saurabh, is that when you make a company as an entrepreneur, the first thing that you should ask yourself that what do I stand for? What is my purpose? Why do I exist? Right? You can't say profits. You can't say revenues because they're outcome. They're outcome of some good things that you do. The purpose is something which drives organization, right? So why is Apple a great company? Right? I just wanted to use the example of Apple because everybody gets that. So Apple is a great company because of the way they think stuff, right? So for example, let me give you an example. So there could be, without naming a company, for example, that there are so many computer making companies. Apple is a computer company, and there's so many computer companies who would come and tell you that, hey, we launched our new computer. This is great because it's got a great form factor. It's very light on the screen. It has got a backlight. It's got SSD keyboard and SSD hard disk. All of this functionalities. You want to buy one, right? The way Apple would communicate to you is that we believe in changing the status quo, for which we create innovative product. To create, in our quest for creating innovative product, we just recently launched our new computer, which does A, B, C, D, E. Would you like to partner with me? Right? It's a different way of communicating. The purpose of an organization is the most important that drives it. Unless you get your purpose right, the reason for it, it's very difficult to win in today's world because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do. Right? So people would want to tie up with you. Today, there are many different companies in this country who are much better funded, have much bigger teams, and are working in fantastic markets today. But we believe that we are one of the most successful ones because we believe in being consistently warm and being hot, rather than blowing hot and cold. I think that the purpose is something that people missed in this case, right? So if you believe in the purpose, you get the right type of people coming to you. There are right type of universities who want to partner with us. There are right type of companies. There are governments. There are policymakers. There are PSU bodies. There is a list of organizations who are willing to partner with Team HRTech because they believe in the mission of making India employable. They're not doing it for me. They're not doing it for Team HRTech. They're doing it for themselves because they believe that they won't want to participate in the national making. They believe that this is a good train to ride on, and together we can make India employable. If you did that well, if you do it well, if you get your products will start aligning there, your services will start aligning there, your teams will start aligning there, and you will build a momentum which will definitely bring in revenues and profits. I don't think we need to get worried about it.
Absolutely, sir. So I think there's a business with difference here, with purpose, and yeah, completely agree. Really, sir, amazing on this. Sir, one quick one. Given, as you rightly said, that there is a skill gap, and Digivarsity and Teamless EdTech trying to bridge those gaps, which may take more time. But in the current context, let's suppose, given a scenario that there is a skill gap, employability is out of two, one is unemployable person. So when a company hit a campus or a university, most of the people are not employable. In that scenario, because since most of my audience are also has a lot of recruiters, talent hunters, and they keep on asking, should we hire for English? Should we hire for spoken, written English? I'll not talk about all this competency, but what is your view when they hit a campus at a UG level or a graduate level or a postgraduate level? What are the top three, four competency that you think, they should be more cognizance of instead of, having a very well-refined specification?
So let me step back again here, Saurabh, and see, everything has to be with a context today, right? So
Yes.
if you see how in today's world, the world is becoming very uncertain today, right? So we are realizing that the employment is no more a lifetime contract. It's a taxi cab relationship. It's short, it's intimate, but it's also for a finite time now, right? The world is becoming more Uberized. People do not want to buy houses. They do not want to buy cars. They want to just hire Uber. Right? That's next Gen Z. In this new world, we believe that soft skills are triumphing over hard skills. Curiosity is being valued more than intelligence. In a world where Google knows everything, there's very little premium for knowledge, but there is a lot of premium for learning to learn. In this world, intangible assets are valued more than physical assets. Look at the capitalization of GE, how it has gone down over 20 years vis-a-vis the new age Fortune 500 companies. Most of them do not own assets there, right? Learning to learn is becoming a very important trait. Knowing is not good enough anymore, right? Consistency is becoming more important than blowing hot and cold. In these times, how do you hire an employee? You need, because productivity is becoming as important as resilience. And hence, you need people who can change themselves, who can adapt to new requirements very soon. And hence, you need people with cross-functional skill sets, with a diverse range of skills, right? If it's left to me, I would prefer to select kids who are more adaptive to change, who are more innovative, who are experimental, right? Who can work in teams, who have a different way of problem solving, right? And whose cognitive and reasoning skills are much better than anything else. I think those are the skills which are becoming more important in today's time, because the rest of the skills are trainable. These are if you bring those skill set inside, you will realize that good times are bad, digitalized world or unknown, because the organization has to change. You do not know what the future is. You need to ensure that you have an army of people who can adapt themselves as the times change. If you look at these type of skill sets, I think the chances of going wrong gets reduced.
So the audience, I think the one key word that Mr. Shantanu is referring, adaptability. He also talked about reasoning. Those are the two critical competency. If you hit a campus, those are the competency that you should hire for, look for. Amazing, sir. One takeaway from this, sir. Whenever we talk about these skill gaps, when there's a gap, and the companies like you trying to bridge it, there is also a potent need of assessments, both summative assessments or a psychometric assessment, different types of assessment. What has been your take on this? Do you think or there's so much written about nowadays, so much AI has gone into this as well, and there are so many assessments which also impart training as well parallelly. What has been your takeaway on it? Because in my audience, there are some companies which are also into edtech side, some of them are into LMS side. So over to you. Just any idea on this?
Yeah, so I'm a complete believer of technology, and I believe that an ability to navigate this uncertain times lies in your ability to adapt yourself as a company and to wake up to the new realities of the world. I mean, AI is definitely something which is coming up and is here to stay unless it's stopped by regulations. Now, today, the challenge with a lot of recruiters and at TeamLease, my parent company is one of the largest manpower services companies in the country, and I'm aware of the challenges that we have faced. We get hundreds and thousands of resumes weekly, and the challenge is to pick up the right type of people. So you need technologies and you need platforms which can do filtering, selection, shortlisting of candidates at scale, right? So you need to use AI to bring and to use some sort of this assessments, because now you are not only trying to assess the hard skills, but you also want to assess the soft skills. You not only want to find out his current suitability to the job, but you also want to have some sort of prediction on his ability to stay on this job and perform on his job.
Right.
Most human recruiters possibly are also suffer from a lot of biases, right? And we have been talking about it in so many times. There are regional biases, language biases, caste biases. There are so many biases that we all have. And hence, possibly, there are technologies, there are platforms, there are assessments, there are bots, there are stuff which is available today who can do things at scale without compromising quality and possibly at a better accuracy level than lots of human interviewers. Because a lot of time we recruit and we put hundreds of recruiters without proper training, without proper filtering, and there is challenging. Am I completely taking away the role of a human being? Obviously not. I think what I believe is that these platforms can do a great job at the bottom of the pyramid and at so many job roles to filter out and from amongst the hundreds and thousands of CVs coming into your inbox and tell you and give you a list of candidates who you should possibly personally interview. I think that that's where the technology is going to play a great role, and lots of companies are doing a great job there. I'm aware of the job that your company is also doing, Saurabh, and I think that's commendable. Because what I found interesting in your company is the fact that you have tried to make it language agnostic. That's very important, because if you have to penetrate in the country and if you have to really take care of a kid who is possibly not well educated, it will work lovely if you can make it language agnostic. The way you guys approached it, I think that's fantastic. So there are a use of platforms like these, use of AI chatbots, humanoids, and stuff like that, interviewing bots, filtering technologies. I think they are going to play a significant role in times to come. And there are so many startups that I'm aware of. Some of them are in close touch with us. I think they're doing incredible job.
Absolutely, sir. Thanks for the positive words, sir. Thanks for your kind words. In fact, one question, sir, that I have received maximum time, before getting onto this event. A lot of job seekers started, questioning that, with this so much AI, as you rightly touched upon AI as well, will going forward in future, our machine will conquer man or not? And I know it's a very vague, or it's a pseudo science topic, but hearing from person like you, educationist, entrepreneur, it will be really good fun. Just maybe what's your top of mind recall to this?
So yeah, some time back, I remember my daughter is in class 10th, and both of us were chatting on this. She's as excited as you on this particular topic, and she's telling me. And she told me, Papa, this question was asked by people about 100 years back again. And this is being repeated. In what context? It said when calculator was invented.
Yes.
When calculator was invented, before that, most companies used to employ a large number of people to do bahi khata. Their job was to do calculation, computation, write it in books. When calculator was invented, they all thought that it's going to change lives, everybody will lose jobs, and what will going to happen? This is doomsday, and that machines are taking over people, joblessness hone wala hai, sab kuch hona. But did it actually happen? Right? It actually opened up new sets of jobs. Human beings are now doing higher order activities. It's not going to work like that. I think AI is going to automate routine work. It's not going to take away work which needs cognitive thinking. It's going to intelligence, human emotions, feelings. It's not going to replace that. So I think AI is, like it or not, we can keep on arguing about it, debating about it, but the fact is that AI is here to stay. It's fact that AI is going to only automate routine work, and human beings will do higher order work, which means that it's going to aid people's work today, and it's going to ensure that productivity goes up. Some time back, I remember 6 months back, I was doing a webinar where we're discussing about the fact that now that AI is there, it can do so much things. Will ChatGPT take away teachers from classrooms, right? 6 months now, we did a research some time back, and today we find that in India, close to about 50% of the teachers have tried ChatGPT at least once to use it in the context of teaching.
Wow.
Now look at it. Today, teachers are using it to generate passages which they can give it to the kids in the classroom. They're using it to generate series of questions based on a particular passage where the kids can practice. That in my daughter's school, they encourage use of these technologies in certain context. That you can use these things, because we have to teach our kids about how to use AI in the right context, right? So if nuclear energy has been discovered already, it's not necessarily that you'll only create bombs. I mean, there are positive ways to use this, and it's important for us to train and teach our kids the positives and the negatives of using this technology. Just hiding it from them will not work. So I think that AI and automation, digitalization, be it ML, be it robotization, all of these things are going to make human lives easier and going to improve productivity of people. We just need to learn how to use it better.
So jobs will not go anywhere, right? The man remain, the need for, so there is no existential crisis. Human need is surviving.
Yeah, so I have read at least 50 different reports from so many countries on future of jobs, future of job roles.
Yeah.
And I find that the accuracy of that is similar to that of a soothsayer or an astrologer. Nobody knows what the future lies there. I mean, it's very difficult to predict. You can't predict the future today. The way it is moving, the only thing you can do is to make yourself worthy of it. Right? Lifelong learning is going to be very, very important. Learning diverse skill sets is very important. Today, I see software engineers coming to us and taking courses on psychology, arts, humanity. And that's so, when I think
unheard.
It's so interesting, but look at it. A software guy, if he understands human psychology, the way you develop a portal is very different from a guy who is better for that knowledge. People coming together to understand diverse skill sets, cross-functional skill sets, are going to be resilient in times to come. You don't know what the future is, but if you are continuously training yourself, continuously teaching yourself, believe in lifelong learning, upskilling, reskilling, and today, the good part about today's world, Saurabh, is in about 2.5 decades back, learning was only top-down. Teachers taught students. Today, learning is everywhere. It's multidimensional. You learn from teachers, you learn from colleagues, you learn online, you learn from crowdsourcing, everything, right? The future of learning is going to be very different. It's going to be online, on-site, on-campus, multimodal, modular, crowdsourced, gamified. It's going to be very different. And in a scenario like that, it should be stupid and foolish not to wake up to the reality. And I think if you continuously skill yourself, you are just preparing for yourself for the better.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, in this podcast, while I'm talking, my production team gave me some questions. One of them is, I have still some set of questions, but I thought I'll quickly take this. One is from Academy of Kerala. They want to be enrolled into a part of Digivarsity. They don't know how to do about it. Then there are a set of students which are saying, how much to be paid to be part of this? Sir, is there any brochure separately that I can directly route out to them, or?
One is obviously they can go to Digivarsity, or they can come to Team Leads HRTech's website called.
As a university, if I need, so one question is, how do I enroll my university into this?
Yeah. So if you for any higher education institution or university or a college who wants to learn more about the work integrated degrees and how to put it up in my own college, please write a mail to us on edtech@teamleads.com.
Okay.
edtech@teamleads.com, or visit edtech.com website, and there's an inquiry page there. Just put it up there. Somebody will get in touch with you. That's number one.
And number then for the student side,
Okay, so let's look at the economics. I forgot saying that. For the student, he doesn't have to pay anything extra apart from his course fees to the university, right? So, for example, let's say you want to take admission into Aligarh Muslim University for some time. Let's say that, and BCom program. Aligarh Muslim University has got a course fee for classroom BCom, has a separate course fee for online BCom, has a separate course fee for work integrated BCom. You have to go to the website of Digivarsity. It will lead you to the Aligarh Muslim University's work integrated BCom, pay up the fees there. That's the only fees that you pay. Only the course fees directly paid to the university. Digivarsity does not charge a single rupee. But normally, as a thumb rule, if you want to understand, the course fees for a complete year is less than 1 month of stipend that the student is going to earn.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. So that's it. It's not And there are lots of financing options available. Student can pay one time. They can even pay it over monthly EMI. There's lots of functionalities built up there.
Yes. So for the audience, I like to tell, I think my production team will soon share the recording and also share you how to get into Digivarsity, how to enroll, how to access from both the university end as well as the student end. So you rest assured, I think we will entertain all these bulk questions later on. Sir, coming back to one of the key questions that I want to ask before, the time wither away. Sir, when I was going through your blog, since I said, I have a great reverence for you as a person from all aspects. You talked about career mindset. You talked about gone are the days. In fact, you also quoted a Steve Jobs quote. Yeah, you need to love your work. Gone are the days wherein you can just end up being a banker and hoping that the entire life will go past like that. So what can you just talk about that, because that learning will be also equally applicable to all the startups which are there in my audience, because that's really, I thought that's a good learning to hear from you. Just more thought on it, sir.
Yeah. So sort of since we deal with a lot of college students and college kids, and that's something that I've been noticing, that kids at times they're coached to think for the jobs rather than careers. Jobs are instantaneous at the moment. The first one that I'm getting, careers are for the longer term. Right? We believe that in a world where things are changing very fast, the life expectancy of a Fortune 500 company has come down from 65 years to about 15 years in the last 35 years. That's what's happened. Which means that everything is becoming so uncertain. It's important to develop a career mindset than a job mindset. That's what our belief is. And what is a career mindset? Career mindset is almost synthesis of all the stuff that I've been talking for the last 40 minutes. It talks about your belief in lifelong learning, continuous upskilling, and continuous reskilling. That's one of the first elements that I talked about. You become an IIT graduate and I am graduate, that's not good enough. Right? Over the last, I've graduated from my institution almost about 25, 30 years back, but every day I'm learning new things. And learning new things from learning online, reading books, from my colleagues, people, professionals like you. I'm learning every day, because there are so many things in the world today that you do not know. When you learn these things and layer experience on top of it, you can do something great. We believe that lifelong learning is again very, very important to this time. Second thing that's becoming important is to get hold of a diverse range of skill sets. It's important today because you saw that what happened during the pandemic. That pandemic was just a curtain raiser to reality that time. So if you saw that that time, we realized that, for example, there are so many people who just lost their jobs because they could not adapt their jobs, and their skill sets were not adaptable to a remote format of work. That did not work. People who had some sort of other skill sets, for example, digital skill set, digital literacy, people who could shift themselves to remote format of work and maintain some semblance of continuity. But you do not know what's going to come up in future. Hence, having a handle on the diverse range of skill sets is going to become very important. Number three, we talked about the fact that you have to take career transitions in its stride. Right? Employment is no more a lifelong contract. You have to ensure that you are willing to take setbacks if that comes, because organizations themselves are so uncertain that it is always not your fault. What do you do? So building that mindset to be able to navigate this type of uncertainties, to be able to continuously upskill yourself, continuously think about new things, building professional and networks. When you do all of these things and learn to take setbacks, I think that's the time you're getting yourselves ready for the future, ready for the long term. That is something that today's people need to learn that. And I'm sure that many people, professionals like you, already know that, but this is more for the students who are now graduating, who are less experienced, who possibly do not have the right type of coaching and mentoring, saying that, do I focus on the first job that I get, or do I get focused on is the first job my destiny, or the first step on the ladder that I'm going to take? Should I focus on what I'm getting today, or what can I become taking this route in the next 5 years' time? It's going to be important. And I think that's the way you need to think about it. And we have said it in so many times that people must set their goals, right? When you look at Google Maps, what do? Two things that you set. First thing you set is where you're starting from. Second thing you set is where do you want to go. And then the chart gets ready. I think in your careers, you need to think like that and say that this is my goal. This is where I'm there. I will take the road which will take me to my destination rather than just taking whatever comes to me the first time.
Amazing. Yes, must say, sir, amazing perspective. Sir, I know, I'm still running out. In fact, some of these, so I think for the audience, I think especially Digivarsity login and all details, we'll share it with you. The skills question I've answered. Sir, one question I got it on my WhatsApp, again from an audience, just ask Shantanu sir from where he gets so much energy. So I don't know whether I should ask this or not. He's saying, I'm fully charged up, hearing him. And sir, he's running an LMS. He's running an LMS company. He said, and he's based out of Kolkata as well. He said, just ask him on the podcast, from where he derives so much energy.
No. I think if you're very passionate about certain thing, right? If you believe in that purpose. I mean, somebody told me that Mr. Narendra Modi works for about 15, 16 hours a day. Where does he get that energy from? What is the age now? I mean, I think if you believe in a purpose, if you are so passionate about something, I think energy. I mean, the world gets together to get you that energy. I think every day in the evening when I go back home, both me, my wife, and so many of my team members keep looking forward to getting the night passing out so that we come back to office again, right? Because we believe that every day we are changing people's lives. Every day we are changing people's lives. And we monitor these things. We monitor impact. We say that how many lives did we touch today? How many people got into formal employment or that train which would take them to the destination? Otherwise, they would have been derailed. How many family incomes did we raise today? Right? And those are the metrics that we measure ourselves on. And that keeps us so much excited. Touching people's life is something which is intoxicating. So I can believe you this. Ask people who work in NGOs, ask people who work for the social causes. I think we believe that Team Leads EdTech is both a cause and a company. And that's something that we are trying to do.
Absolutely, sir. I think must say, very well said, sir. In fact, because when we started this, I started with a very somber beginning of skill gap. But, throughout these 45 minutes, you gave so many perspective, but yet they're all positive. So you said, you need to do a business, but they need to be a purpose. The machine is not going to replace man, but still man need to upskill himself all the time. You need to be open as a person. That is a top competency. Curiosity is more important than other competencies. So I think I must say, sir, there is a lot of most of these podcasts, sir, we end up the energy level drops, but I think in this one, I think we are at all-time high even now at this point of time. Sir, one quick one, I like to end with this, maybe the last one I want to ask again, sir. It's from the startup community. Sir, what do you do on weekends? In fact, this question has been asked. Sir, I have the loads of colleges who want to be part of. I think I have close to 5. I'll send you those credentials separately. But having said that, sir, what do you do on weekends and what's the daily day look like? Because you've been a busy week. Yeah. What's the answer to this, sir?
So, sort of normally, I am a 9:30 to 6:30. I don't like working after office hours at all. I don't carry work home. The time after office is for my family. I love music. I sing. I play guitar. Everybody in my family does something or the other. I spend my time at my farm. I love doing things on the ground. I have lots of pets. I have about 8 cows. I have two cats. I have 2 dogs.
I'm sure not in Mumbai, sir.
It's about 80 kilometers of Mumbai. It's about 1.5 hours drive. I have some 3 dozen chickens and some ducks and all. So I love spending time with nature. My daughters love it. My brother, his daughter, everybody. So we are a mad family that way. So so music, farming, reading new things, and spending time with family. I think that's something that we love. Life has to be well-rounded. That's when you start enjoying. This rejuvenates you for the next year.
Absolutely, sir. I think really amazing. Sir, very difficult, to have an interview with somebody and you don't, and it's very difficult while I was interviewing to not get starstruck by you. With so much academic brilliance, that entrepreneurship take, and then doing business, which is so difficult to get right, and having a heart at the right place. But sir, amazing to host you for this event. Sir,
Thank you.
everything is recorded. There are set of questions that we will again bounce back, put back to you. And thanks for taking time from on this Friday eve. I know the weekend is around the corner, sir. I hope you have amazing weekend on this farm that you generally go to and rejuvenate yourself, because really this country really require a company like you to make this India more employable. Thanks for being part of this event. Thanks a lot, and thanks audience for being a wonderful. You've been asking all this. A lot of mails that we have received, we will reply back to it with the consent of our speaker. And thanks a lot. Thanks. Let's have a wonderful weekend. And thanks for all for tuning in. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you so much, Saurabh.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.